Well, Reds, what's happening? Welcome back to the show. This is a drive time Shankly Sessions. We're going to give you a bit of a match reaction to the Bournemouth game, little chat about the West Ham game and other bits of news and stuff like that as well, so we'll get right into it. It's driving home here, folks. It's like 10 to 5 and it's getting dark. 10 to 5. God, where are those summer nights gone and stuff, you know? But anyway, let's get into this. Certainly a game of two halves. And we did mention in the preview how Areola likes to, you know, set up Bournemouth man for man in a way that's quite open for us as well. And I said that their kind of style would suit us a lot more than Forest's kind of dig in and proper kind of counter-attack, if you like. Whereas with Bournemouth, it's not kind of a counter-attack. They kind of face you up and they work you man for man, and you know, sometimes obviously they get found out like on Saturday where just the quality is a bit better. They've had a good start to the season. They're playing some really good football. They've been very unlucky in a number of results. We spoke about it in the preview. They really should have been out of sight against Chelsea, but they weren't. So we knew they were going to pose quite a challenge, but little did we know that how quickly it would be kind of put to bed with the 3 goals. Luis Diaz absolutely on fire at the moment. Not only is he doing what he was doing last season, but he's so much more clinical in taking his opportunities compared to last year. So there's been a huge change there, which has been phenomenal for us. Darwin Núñez, absolutely delighted to see him get on the score sheet as well, take his opportunity. What a beautiful finish for him into the far side of the goal. Cuts in, beautiful ball, beautiful build up, lovely interplay with Mo Salah, and then cuts in, takes his chances and lets fly. And listen, we know these kind of goals are in Darwin's locker. The problem is he just doesn't produce them in any kind of consistent kind of way. But if he can find that little bit of consistency, and when he does get his opportunity to take his opportunity like on Saturday, then he will start to give the manager a few headaches and a few decisions to make in who he plays up front, which is fantastic for us to say that we have that abundance of riches up front. You know, obviously Alisson being out, Quevin coming in, no problem there at all. Don't have any issue at all. As I said, Quevin's for me the best number 2 in the league. So there was no issue there at all. Quevin came in, did an excellent job as always. Didn't have a huge amount to do, probably more in the second half than he should have. But I thought second half, we would have built on what we did in the first half, and we didn't really. And it kind of second half kind of ran out kind of somewhat like a relaxed, laid back kind of training session and stuff like that. Still have questions over the left back situation and stuff like that. Robbo came in, put in a shift, but you know, I still have issues there. I still think we need to go out and buy a left back, or potentially, you know, maybe give Joe a run in that position and stuff like that. I just think I think at times we're just a little bit exposed there, you know. Obviously Bournemouth scoring that goal early on, the Semenyo goal that got ruled out. We were lucky. Line just held its line basically. It was fractional, it was marginal, to be honest, and stuff like that. And with them scoring, potentially it might have been a slightly different game, although I do think we'd still get plenty of chances with the way they don't change their style of play. Like if you look at Bournemouth are not the type of team where they will go out and score a goal and take a lead and sit back and try to hold it. They don't play like that. They'll still go and try to score. They'll still go against of that. They have a really nice, you know, it's nice to watch Bournemouth games as well. They have a real nice style of play. Unfortunately, they need to get points on the board as well, which is kind of trying to find that balance. Well, what do? Do you stick to your tried and tested style of play? And maybe it's not going the way for you, a la the Chelsea game, and obviously with us would have been a non-contest basically after half time. Or do you figure out a way to do it a different way? Now obviously they're doing everything bar having a guy up front who can finish. Obviously missing Dom Solanke, who was on fire for them last season. Evan Nielsen has come in, hasn't quite hit his straps yet, but we can see the quality of the boy. Niall came on as well, kind of offers you something similar as well, in terms of the level of quality and stuff like that. But certainly we knew they were going to be missing Solanke's goals this season. So the question is, do they really change it up, or should they change it up and stuff like that? Should they be much tighter at the back? Affording that back line more protection and stuff like that. You have Christie there and Cook and all, and these guys who, like, the work rate is phenomenal and stuff like that, and there's a bit about them and all, but they might struggle a little bit this year, maybe against the lower down teams and stuff like that, where they play ball. You might get those kind of basketball games where they'll come out on top, those 3-2s or 4-3s or something like that, if they can find their shooting boots. If they don't find their shooting boots pretty quickly, they could find themselves down there in a bit of a battle, and that's the problem. The problem is a lot of their build-up play is really good, their use of the ball is really, really progressive, but they just, with Evan Nielsen struggling and Niall struggling as well, they just don't have someone to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's the key to survival, isn't it? So all good for the Reds. Went top, albeit for 24 hours. Madness in the City Arsenal game, no doubt. Up next for us, we have West Ham in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. Really looking forward to that one. Interesting to see what Lopetegui does there as well. Been very, very disappointing start to the season for West Ham, I have to say. They're a team that went out, spent a bit of money in the summer, certainly backed their manager. There was huge soundings coming out of the West Ham fan base and all that. They had a lot of confidence in this season in terms of potentially even breaking into top 4, some were saying, and having that opportunity, at least top 6 or whatever. I think they're probably going to struggle now based on that. Lopetegui is kind of a weird one. He hasn't kind of found the formula that he wants to go with at the moment. You've got Kudus there, all the talent in the world. You've Paqueta as well, and Jared Bowen. You've lots of really good players there and stuff like that, but it's the midfield that's a problem for them, and you could see at the weekend the way Chelsea just cut through that midfield like a hot knife through butter. And they kind of made Jackson look world class. And no, don't get me wrong, he was excellent on the day as well. Chelsea were excellent as well, and that would have been a wake-up call for West Ham. So will he ring the changes come Wednesday, Carabao Cup? And we like playing West Ham and Anfield in the Carabao Cup. It's good history there with us and stuff like that and all. Interesting to see what Arne Slot goes with as well. Will he change it up and stuff like that? Who are we going to see coming in for the Carabao Cup? No doubt Jones, I'd say, would get minutes, and let's see who else he goes with. Does he change out the front line a little bit? What will his focus be in terms of the Carabao Cup? It's been a good week, back on track after losing to Forest. Had a real good result against AC Milan in the San Siro, and we carried that form back in at the weekend against Bournemouth. Sometimes that can be a bit of a banana skin where you come back and you come down from the highs of the Champions League playing in the San Siro against the likes of AC Milan to back at home against the likes of Bournemouth. No disrespect to Bournemouth, and maybe sometimes you struggle to kind of find your footing in that, but we did an excellent job and stuff like that. So we got to do the same thing again. Carabao Cup on Wednesday. We do like this cup, as you know. And hopefully we can beat West Ham, keep the momentum going, stuff like that, and make sure we're involved in all these competitions, so there's plenty of game time for the whole squad and stuff like that and all, because we know, it takes a lot to unlock that door for Arne to make substitutions and stuff like that and all, so there, we'll see what happens. Maybe we get Chiesa. Maybe Chiesa gets a bunch of minutes. Maybe he starts even on Wednesday. Let's see what happens there. That would be interesting, because I really want to see more time in him. It looks like, as we know, there's a bit about him and stuff like that, but it'll be interesting to see once he gets like a full game or 60 minutes or whatever it is, get a feel for where he is and where he's at. So yeah, looking forward to that game on Wednesday. Don't forget tonight, folks, 9 o'clock Monday mashup. We're back. We're going to be reviewing all the weekend's action. Myself and Mark, our resident ref, will be on your screens. We're going to be talking about all those other ref decisions as well, talking about other stuff. Maybe taking a look at Brian Clough as well, 20 years on from his anniversary, his passing. get a feel off Marky about how he feels about Brian Clough and the mark he left on football and stuff like that. We're also going to be talking about the situation at Dundalk. Interesting, Mark has some insight into that. He knows John Temple. So we're going to be talking about the situation at Dundalk, and also poor result for them there at the weekend as well. 10 minutes of madness and stuff like that. Dropped 2 goals to Sligo, but also got a red card as well, so cost them the game 2-1. So it's one thing being bailed out and having a new owner, it's another thing having a future in the league, which would be crucial to that situation. So we'll touch on that as well. I'd like to touch on a little bit of Irish football in the show now on a Monday with Mark. He's very passionate about it and stuff like that as well. But as regards to the Reds, it's onwards and upwards. Another win under the belt, and then we got Wolves. Wolves away, I think it is, at the weekend. That's going to be a big game for us. And I think Man City are away to Newcastle, so that could be interesting. Newcastle will want to get something out of that, if not a win, a draw. If they have designs on getting back into Europe and all that kind of stuff, so we will see. And obviously the boy Rodri as well, we have to think about that as well. And obviously our thoughts go out to him as well. Horrible injury, if it is an ACL, could ruin his whole season, gone, especially at a time where he's been performing at a very high level both for City and on the back of the Euros with Spain as well. Talk coming out today that it may not be as bad as originally was thought, but I haven't any confirmation on that, just listen to some of the fan channels. But if he is out for the season, and all this talk of potentially Zubimendi thinking that it was a mistake not to go to Liverpool, and talk that it might happen in January, do City now swoop in there for Zubimendi, needing obviously that cover in the 6? I'm sure Kovacic can carry them right up till the January window, but from the January window on, will they need to bring in a 6 to fill that void from Rodri? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments, and that could create a problem for us if we had designs on going back in for Zubimendi. I'm not sure if you listen to the gaffer's comments. Like all us as fans, he's very, very impressed with the development of Ryan Gravenberch. But does that mean if we were there or thereabouts and we were in around the title race and all, should we still go in and strengthen? I think we should. Let me know what you think as well. Mo Salah slightly off form at the moment. Just not hitting the straps, doing everything bar scoring, and feels like he's pushing himself hard rather than in a more natural kind of way and stuff like that and all. But sure, the cream rises to the top, and he's an incredible player and he'll bounce back pretty quick. Other than that, not a whole lot else to talk about in terms of Liverpool. Good solid win against Bournemouth. Again, I would have liked to see a little bit more in the second half. I just thought we got a little bit relaxed. I think that's why Aaron made a few changes, just to freshen it up a bit. But let's see what happens. Roll on Wednesday, Carabao Cup. Don't forget also tomorrow night, folks, I think 8 o'clock it is, Pro Wrestling Weekly. And don't forget on Wednesday, we're back on your screens again. William Tyrrell, one of the chief scouts for Norwich City in Ireland, is going to be giving us an interview. So we're going to be talking to William about the scouting situation. What do they look for? How does it all come about? Once they identify someone, what happens then? All that kind of stuff. We're also going to be talking to him about Brexit and how Brexit has impacted getting players over to the academies in the UK and stuff like that and all. It's had a huge effect. So we want to get Willie's insight into that as well. And Mark has some old college stories as well he wants to talk to Willie about as well. So it should be a fascinating show, no different to the other interview ones we've been doing. And then Thursday I'll be back on your screens with Darren as well. Thursday Tier Talk, we'll be previewing the Premier League action for the weekend, beat the bookie, all the latest news, all that kind of good stuff. So if you could, folks, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video. Make sure you're hitting the likes, folks. The likes are most important. That's the difference. The likes are the difference between us getting out there on YouTube and people seeing the content, or being kind of in jail on YouTube where only a select few see and stuff like that. We're trying to grow the channel, trying to bring you the best content we can. A lot of effort goes into it and stuff like that. I'm going to talk to you again real soon, Reds.